So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing the step-by-step process, what I did, how I did it, what you need to do if you're interested in the Canadian Express Entry program. Yes. So I'm going to be dropping valuable insights about it. Stay tuned and please remember to subscribe, okay? Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am particularly excited about today's vlog because it is a follow-up of the last video I posted. And if you haven't seen that video, you really should. I will be linking it somewhere in this video. I received lots of comments, lots of love, lots of subscribers, and lots of questions as well. That's why I am doing this vlog today, to address most of the questions I got, because all of them can be categorized into a certain set of questions. They all were kind of similar. So in this vlog, I will be answering those questions. I really appreciate everybody that has subscribed, everybody that has liked, dropped a comment. The views on that video are growing exponentially and I'm really excited. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, turn on your post notification, because I'm going to be dropping valuable content, valuable information to help you if you see yourself trying to start the whole Canadian immigration process, the express entry pathway. Are you like me, who was confused a couple of years back? I was clueless. I knew about the Canadian immigration program, but I didn't know where to start, what to do, how to do it. Everything about the immigration process was hazy. And in my confused state, I started reading, I started researching, and that's how I came across valuable information I collated from different places. And I followed the procedures, I followed the steps, and here I am today in Canada. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing the step-by-step process, what I did, how I did it, what you need to do if you're interested in the Canadian Express Entry program. Yes. So I'm going to be dropping valuable insights about it. Stay tuned and please remember to subscribe, okay? I'm going to start with the question about why Canada? Why did I choose Canada? That question is pretty relative and dependent on the individual involved, right? If I do say so myself. There were lots of things I considered before I decided to try out the Canadian immigration program. I'll just mention a few. I'd researched about the country and I'd seen that there were so many benefits. I won't be able to list them, but I think if you decide to do your research, you may just be as convinced as I am about the country and how good it is. And then the immigration program was suitable. Yeah, I was a good fit for the program as at the time I applied. I started this in 2020. So as at then, I had all of the requisite qualifications, everything that was needed. I met all of the whole criteria. So it was pretty easy for me to just jump into the pool, yeah. So like I said, it's really based on you as a person. Is this what you want to do? You're the only one who can answer that question. And that's how I found myself here right now. Other questions I got stemmed from how did you even start? What did you start with? What am I supposed to do if I'm interested in starting? And that is what I will be talking about today. So please stay tuned. In early 2020, I started by evaluating my results. Now, let me just do a little throwback. Before you start the evaluation of your results, as well as writing the IELTS, it would be very good if you simulate your scores with the link I'm going to be posting in the description of this video. So there's a link. I'm looking at my phone real quick. So there's a link I'm going to be posting down the description box of this video. Look out for that link. Click on it and simulate your scores. Now, you're going to just answer the questions. They're going to be asking you questions like, are you married? What's your highest qualification? What's your IELTS score? How many years of experience do you have? Now, the minimum years of experience you're supposed to have is 3 years. That's 3 years progressive working experience. Then you're supposed to have a good IELTS score of 8 in listening. When you are simulating your score, you put 8 in your listening, in the box for the listening, put an 8 there, put 7 in all others, like the reading, the speaking, and the writing, and then use that to simulate your score. If you doubt what I'm saying, try putting a 6 or a 7 in your listening, in your listening, and see how your CRS score is going to crash down very much. And considering how high the cutoff score is now, when you watch this video further, I think you pretty understand what I'm saying. Considering how high, because the pool, Canada has begun bringing in immigrants again. They've started calling people out of the pool, and the score is high. You really want to ace your IELTS and do everything within your power to increase your score so that you stand a chance, right? So you put an 8 in your listening, you put 7 in all others, and simulate your score, answer all other questions, and see if you stand a chance. If you don't stand a chance, you may just want to improve your scores by, maybe if you don't have an MSc, you may want to get an MSc, that's a master's degree in whatever course you studied, or you can decide to study French. I know a couple of people who decided to study French because French is a really good way to boost your scores. It raises your scores really high, and you're able to stand a chance amongst all other people. And then for some who are lucky, their siblings are already here. So if you have a sibling here, you're going to score some points on that. And by sibling, I mean blood relative, like your brother, your sister, not your grandmother's step-sister's auntie that is your sister. I don't know what I said, but you know what I mean. So it has to be your direct sibling. So back to my story. Yes, I had simulated my score using the link I'm going to be posting in the description box, and I stood a really good chance. So I started with the Educational Credential Assessment. That's the ECA, right? Educational Credential Assessment. Now, there are different bodies who do this. I have a master's, I have an MSc, so that was the result I wanted to evaluate. You're supposed to evaluate your highest qualification. So I did mine with World Education Service, which is WES. There are many others, there's ICES, there are many others, and it's dependent on your field of study. I think there's a unique one for lawyers, there's another one for doctors. I'm not so sure because that's not my field, but the one I used was World Education Service, WES. I created a profile on WES, and that's where I started from. And then I was asked to submit my transcript, the transcript of my master's degree. And then the cost of evaluating your results with WES was 210 Canadian dollars. I said was because, like I said, it was the year of 2020, and we know how inflation has scattered the prices of everything. So you really cannot work with the billings and the prices I used back then. You have to work with what is available right now. So I did that. I went back to my school, got my transcript, and the whole process of the transcript and using DHL to send it to the World Education Service was not less than 30,000 Naira as at the time. So I need to give a caveat again. Right now, this is a relative process depending on the school you graduated from. So the school you graduated from is going to determine the price of your transcript, right? But the price of evaluating for WES as at then was 210 Canadian dollars. And then I wrote my IELTS. After my evaluation, I decided to wait. My evaluation came back after like 3 months because there was ASU strike then, and so many COVID. Yes, there was a lot of things happening. And then when my evaluation came back, I wrote my IELTS. At the time, I wrote my IELTS with MOD, and I paid 73,500 Naira. Right now, the price is not the same. Please don't quote me anywhere that this was the price this person paid. It's not the same right now. So the prices are different. You could write to British Council, you could write to MOD like I did. And then when I wrote my IELTS, I decided to jump into the pool because I was ready. After my IELTS, I created an express entry profile. In that profile, you're going to be supplying information about your work history, your education history, your IELTS, your education has to do with the whole evaluation you did, and then you're just going to create a profile and wait. My scores were high as at that time, so I didn't wait long in the pool, and I was picked out, I think, a week after I joined the pool. After I was picked out of the pool, it was now, I was given 90 days, a 90 days interval to submit certain documents, starting from my full body medical examination, my proof of funds, and then my reference letters from my places of employment, my IELTS results, my West evaluation documents, and police character certificates. I read somewhere last week, or my friend tagged me to a post last week by Insta blog, where I read that the police character certificate has increased to 40,000 naira. As at the time I did it, I didn't spend, I think I spent about 10,000 naira only. It's so sad that it has increased. I'm surprised the inflation also affected that. I mean, it's my character we're checking here. Why is it so expensive? I know you can relate to that, yeah? So that's also, you collate all of that. Now, as at the time I was applying for a family of one, sorry, I just need to check my notes here real quick, so I am giving you the right information. For a family of one, as at when I was applying, it was 12,960 Canadian dollars that you're supposed to have in your account. You're supposed to have that to present. But right now, like I said, everything has added. It's over 13,000 Canadian dollars now if you're a family of one. And then after collating for my medicals, I spent 46,500. I did mine with IOM Abuja. I'm not so sure what the price is now, but I did that in the year of 2020. Yes. And so the price may be different now. Things have changed. Always bear that in mind. It's always different with each passing time. And then after you've collated all of these documents on your profile, you'll now be directed to the place where you get to pay for your application fee. So this is an application fee that is charged by the Canadian authorities to process your application. And as at that time, it was 1,410. So that's 1,410 Canadian dollars. I don't know what it is now. It should have increased, may have increased. I'm not so certain, but that's what I paid as at that time. And I had issues with sending that currency, the whole currency thing. Back then, I used an app called Butter by Flutterwave. I don't know if they are still in operation, but that was what I used. And then I paid my fees, and then I'd submitted my profile. I was just waiting for them to process it between 4 to 6 months. And God knows I waited for over a year, thanks to COVID-19. The whole process elongated, and there was no definite processing time. But thankfully, like I said in my last video, this year they came through, and here I am in Canada. This is a summary of how I started my process, how I submitted everything, and how I am here today. Just to give you a recap of what I just said, the first place to start is by simulating your scores using the link in my description box. Simulate your scores first and see that you stand a chance. If you stand a chance for the Federal Skilled Worker Canadian Express Entry Pathway, you then evaluate your results. When you're done evaluating your results, you write IELTS. You can choose to write IELTS before your evaluated results comes back. Whatever you want to do, whatever rocks your boat. But I decided to evaluate my results, write IELTS, then jump into the pool, submit every required document that is requested as one profile, and then you just wait for the processing to happen. So right now, the scores are really, really high, but the good thing is you just keep up the faith because the scores are dropping. 2 draws have happened since the last time it happened, sometime in, I don't know, can't remember the time, but 2 draws have happened. The first one was really high, over 500 plus, can't remember the exact score. The second one dropped by a bit, so fingers crossed the numbers are going to keep dropping and then it will get to your turn. However, if your score is not so high and you're worried, you could also try the provincial pathways where you get nominated by a province. I'm not so familiar with that pathway. I didn't do that. If I have the time, I can research on it and see what information to provide. Please, I'm not a licensed immigration consultant. I do not really have all the answers. I'm just sharing what I did, how it worked for me. So please don't quote me anywhere or hold me and say, oh, you said this and it didn't work for me. Please, this is a disclaimer. This is what worked for me. Yours may be different. It may not be the Canadian Express Entry pathway, the one I did, Federal Skilled Worker pathway. So just keep that in mind and try all of your options. I wish you all the very best. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment. Turn on your post notification as well. And I'm going to be dropping more content, like I said. Also, if you need me to answer certain questions about the pathway I used, just stay tuned, just drop them in the comments and I'm going to take note of them. I already got questions about how I got my accommodation sorted before I got here, as well as other questions that came privately to me that I'm going to be addressing going forward. So if you have specific questions, shoot them in the comment section. I'm just going to gather them, get all the information I can get with respect to, I'm using myself now as the lab rat because I have done it, I've been there, and I think I have first-hand information. So if you have any question, drop it in the comments and I'm going to be addressing it. Once again, please remember to subscribe. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and I hope this video was very, very explanatory. Thank you. See you in the next one. Bye.